Alright, so to begin with in Math 115, we're going to start off with what hopefully is review for you. If this isn't review, well, yeah, you might look into, well, you might be able to get by with just studying more, but you might end up having to drop down to Math 90 or something like that. Alright, so when we're starting, we're going to start right off the bat with graphing. And when we're talking about graphing, I mean graphing on rectangular coordinate system. We'll have the x-axis, which is the horizontal axis, and the y-axis. The quadrants, generally, this is, when we're talking about the coordinates being in the positive, and the x-coordinate being positive is going to be to the right, x-coordinate being negative is going to be left, y-coordinate being positive is going to be up, and y-coordinate being negative is going to be down. So if we're talking about the four quadrants, this is the first quadrant, and then we go in a counterclockwise direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. So if we're listing out our points, this is going to be our x and our y are both going to be positive if we're in the first quadrant. If we're in the second quadrant, it's going to be a negative and then a positive because we're to the left and up, and so on. We could figure that out for each of them. Alright, so when we're graphing, what it means to graph, the graph of an equation is a set of all points that satisfy the equation. That means if you plug the x and the y coordinates into the equation, then it becomes a true statement. So let's just look at an example here. Trying to figure out if the point 3,5 satisfies this equation. If the point satisfies this equation, then that would be a point on the graph of this equation. So let's just try it out. Let's try, this is the x-coordinate, this is the y-coordinate. So I'll plug those in, x, y. Alright, so we get 5 equals 3 squared minus 4. I'm just testing to see if this is a true statement. 5 equals 9 minus 4. I'm testing, so I'm going to do a question mark equals there. 5 equals 5. That's a true statement. So that means 3, 5 is on the graph. It satisfies. So whatever the graph looks like, well, I happen to know the graph actually looks something like this. The point 3,5 actually lies somewhere on that, well, can't say line. It lies on the graph of that equation. I used one that specifically, you wouldn't be able to use slope-intercept form for or anything like that, because, all you need to do here is to test to see if it satisfies that equation, and it does.